Okay, I'd like to real quickly just review how I'm approaching parsing the input of the maze. So if you recall, the input of the maze looks like this, and there's essentially three parts: the tests, the test it, the state machine that runs us through this process of the size, the start, the finish, and then the walls, and then each state handler of the state machine. Okay, so in the last video I showed you how to set up the tests. So here are all my tests, and we can run through all of them. I was playing around with the regular expression matcher. That's kind of if the tests were, if the specification was more elaborate than what we have. Regular expressions might be worthwhile, but this is real simple for us. So I made a little file manager. I'm going to end up expressing this later. And it takes an iStream, so you'll be able to construct a stream off of a file, an input stream off of a file, or an input stream off of a string. So here's how I did an input string stream. You can treat it just like a string, except you're reading from it and consuming values. Then you would call process file with that stream and an input state, and then it runs through the state machine by recursively calling each handler function and then itself recursively going from size to start to finish, finish to walls, walls to done, and then done, and you're really done. And here's how I'm processing size. So if you recall, the size is just 10, 11, period. So I'm saying consume an integer from the stream, then consume as much string data as you can. So that consumes that right there. And then the final B is just the 11. Okay. Then when I want to consume the start, I need to be careful to consume each field as much as I can, but if I consume a string, it'll consume all of that. So it's not going to work the same as it did the last time. So in this case, we want to initialize a character and say consume a single character from the stream. That'll get just that parenthesis. Then consume an integer. That'll consume a 1 or a 10 or any multi-digit value. So the largest number of characters it can grab. It's greedy, right? It pulls as many characters as it can to build a number. When it can no longer build a number, then it stops. We consume the comma, and then we start consuming the rest of the stream. That's going to eat out the white space and grab the rest of the number, and then the dummy pulls off the final little piece right there. Okay. Finish is exactly the same, actually. Then walls is just a little bit more elaborate. Walls, we don't consume a dummy string at the end because we want to know if that final character is a comma or a period. We could go off checking the stream if the stream itself was empty, consume until the stream was empty, but we're going to hold to the specification of the file, and if the sentinel value is present, then we'll say that that is done. So we initialize it to some value while it's not the sentinel value, and then eventually that final C will show up as a sentinel value. In the meantime, we're building up all of these characters in a vector of coordinates. The coordinate is simply just, where did I define that? Probably just passed it. Yeah. The coordinate is simply a pair of two unsigned values, and these are the header files. I actually didn't use this one. So that how I'm approaching reading the input off off of the file or the string. And that's it.